Hi, grant writing peeps. Dr. E here with the big week 3 of grant writing, English 4321. Hope things are going well for you. Um, this is the big week. We're really going to actually start working on the grant. So right now, I want to talk to you a little bit about just how the group work on the grant's going to go, a little bit about your planning memo, and then a little bit more about your individual groups work as well. So each of you, well, we got a big class. And so as I mentioned previously, we're going to write 2 grants. We're trying to get $10,000 to increase produce distribution. So I'm going to break the class into 2 halves. I'm going to call them Team Green and Team Blue. Okay. It's the TAMUCC colors. And each team is going to write a $5,000 grant as well. So roughly 13 people on each team. And each team is going to be broken up into 3 groups. And each group has some projects. So I'm going to just show you real quick how this goes. Blackboard's a little bit clunky with sharing screens, but I'm going to show you how this works. So, we're on to our Blackboard page as well. And the first thing that you'll see in week 3 is the group assignments. And I'm going to call this up, and it's going to open in Word. And Blackboard being what it is, I've got to stop sharing and then start sharing again in with Word. And here you go. So you got, again, 2 teams, Team Green and Team Blue. And each team has 3 groups, Groups A, Groups B, and Group C. And so each group is going to have a specific job, and it's going to change a couple of times. But your first big job is to do these 3 tasks. Team Green's going to work on a need statement. You may not know what that is. We haven't done the reading yet, but I'll talk about this a little bit later. But I want you to be thinking about the conditions in the coastal bend in Corpus Christi that make the food bank services necessary. Why do people need to go to the food bank for food? Why produce? Why elderly people particularly vulnerable? Second, I want you to describe the project, describe what we're doing. Now, you don't know much about what we're doing. On Thursday, we are going to have a tour of the food bank. You're welcome to come. You're not required. I'll send out a separate email about that. But I'm going to record that meeting, that tour, and I'm going to post it as soon as I get out of class on Thursday. So that data will be available for you. And you can watch that video, and you can also review all the stuff on the food bank website. And get a sense about what they're doing and how we're going to increase distribution of produce to elderly people through this grant. And the third group is going to find specific funders to go after. And so I need each of your groups to schedule a meeting with me, or both of your groups, that all or most of y'all can come with via Zoom, or you can come to my office as well. And I'll help you identify funding sources that you can use to look at. So those are the team and group assignments as well. Now, each team is going to have a quarterback, and I'm going to sort of email back and forth with people and figure out who that's going to be. And the quarterback is going to kind of keep everybody on track, kind of make sure all the groups are doing their work, and is going to keep everything together, and is ultimately going to assemble the grant. They're going to get help from it, obviously, as well. But the quarterback needs to be one of those people who's well organized, gets their work done on time, and is willing to communicate with people in a variety of ways. Very important job. And so each team is going to have a quarterback, and that team is going to be the one that contacts the food bank when there's a question. So your group has a question, it needs some information. Well, contact your quarterback, and the quarterback will call Mr. Morales at the food bank, get the answer, and then send the answer back to the whole team. So each team has a quarterback, but each group needs to appoint its own communicator, somebody who's willing to speak up for that group, communicate with me, communicate with the other groups, and most importantly, post the work from that group that you got done onto Blackboard so you get credit. So sounds a little complicated, but really you're 2 teams and you're in a group within those teams as well. Your team has one job, and your team needs to elect somebody to be its communicator with the group, and the communicator will make sure your work gets done. So that's kind of the way the group system is going to work. I need to, again, stop this and then go back to Blackboard, because again, it's just the way Blackboard works as well. So that's what we're going to be doing as well. We're going to be getting in our groups, and really this for Tuesday, all I want you to do is get your group organized. I want you to communicate with each other, figure out how you're going to share data, how you're going to talk to each other, and choose the communicator. So that's what we're doing on the grant. We're also going to be doing a planning memo. It looks like a big deal. It's not. Just I want you to look at the assignment. And the assignment is here under assignments. And here's the planning memo here. And it's a pretty straightforward assignment. Just who you are, what your major is, kinds of writing you're done, what your group, what your role is in the group project, as much as you know at this point. So you know at least what group you're in and what role your group is going to be playing writ large. And then the third part, and probably the most important part, is that you need to identify an agency that you're going to do your individual grant with. When you contact that person, you need to make it clear that you're going to be working on the grant after spring break, and you'll be done around early May as well. You need to make sure they've got a specific project for them to do, and sort of figure out, kind of how they want to work, how they want to communicate, things like that as well. The biggest difficulty people have in this course is they come back after spring break and they do not have an individual project lined up. So that's going to be a thing I really look at as well. And you get your end results and any other information you want to share. And as I note at the end, it's a planning memo. Things change, and it's okay if those things change as well. But I'd like you to bang out a draft of that by Tuesday, put it up in Blackboard. And again, don't make it a bigger deal than it is. Think of it as you're writing something semi-informally to me. You're just trying to give me information as well. And then take a couple of days to look at a couple of other classmates' work, give them specific suggestions. Before you give them suggestions, look at the assignment, make sure they do it as well as they can. And if you notice anything they've missed or have specific suggestions, please make those. And I ask that you give 2 actionable suggestions. This is good, but you might do this, or have you tried this, or he said do this, he didn't do that as well. Remember, it's good, flows nice is not helpful. You may think you're being friendly, but if you know something needs work and you don't make suggestions, you're really not being helpful. So we're going to get started working on our group, and we're going to get started going to do our planning memo. We're going to get a draft posted. We're going to give each other feedback, and then that's due on Friday, the 3rd. And then the last part is, again, we're going to get started in our groups. Each group is doing something a little bit different, and I'll look at the stuff that's there. And so let me get back into week 3 as well. And again, you'll notice each week I'm gonna have watch, listen, watch, readings, writing, and then stuff to be done in groups. This week I'm going to give you 3 grants to look at, all of which are TAMUCC written. 2 of them were funded and 1 of them wasn't. And I want you to look at each of the project descriptions, how they describe what's going to be done with the grant money. And on Friday, you're going to say why you think 2 were funded and 1 was not. Why was the one that wasn't funded not funded? And you can speculate about that as well. But I also just want you to pay attention to how they describe projects. What a project description is, how they tell the funder how the money is going to be used as well. And so, again, each group is going to, that's Thursday, and then the Friday, each group is going to, Group A is going to look a little bit about needs. Why do people need the food bank services? And again, just some preliminary information, maybe some research that you do. Is there a lot of poverty? Is there a lot of food insecurity as well? Do people in the area have lack of access to fresh fruits and vegetables? And what are the consequences of not having fruits and vegetables in your diet over time? I think I've mentioned this before, but there are a number of food-related illnesses, diabetes, heart disease, things like that running rampant through the coastal bend. Corpus is the amputation capital of the United States because so many people get diabetes-related amputations as well. So do a little research, just post that. Again, I don't necessarily want anything super formal, just get some data and post those as well. The second group B, is going to describe the project a little bit. I talked about this before, but try to get what you can from the food bank website, get what you can from the video of the tour, and describe what the project is, what we're doing as well. And then very specifically, group C has to meet with me as a group via Zoom, or you can come to my office, and we're going to identify some funding sources that we might use to write for the grant. So that's what we're doing this week. We're doing a planning memo. We're getting started with our groups. Our groups have specific tasks. And we're looking at some project descriptions from actual grants that students have written. 2 were funded, 1 were not, and see what we can learn about project descriptions. That's what we're doing for week 3. I appreciate your time, and I look forward to seeing what y'all come up.